Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Overwatch Pretenders broadcast. I am Archie Sleek Smith, joined here today by the incredible HX to break down the most recent matchup here in our tournament. HX, it's Scuffed versus Toxic Shock here. What are you thinking?
Scuffed versus Toxic Shock. I'm thinking we should get some other teams playing at this point. I want to see Mercury Cougars versus Seven Sin.
You heard the man. We are actively changing the schedule as we say it. We are bringing in two completely separate teams from what I originally said, and we're going to have them play instead. So, rephrasing, we are now going to be watching the Seven Sins versus the Mercury Cougars. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Have you gotten to see much of these teams just yet, HX?
Well, I've seen Seven Sins, and I have to say, I was a really big fan of Lethal and his Genji play. So that's what I want to see in this next match. I want to see Lethal come back with that Genji play.
All right, so that's going to be one of the things just to keep an eye on here. Lethal, apparently with a lethal Genji. I'm hilarious. Still.
I was laughing, Slee.
Thank you. We're going to start things off on King's Row. This is a map we've seen a lot of things run by different compositions. What do you think? What kind of compositions do you think are going to come out here?
Well, King's Row is pretty famous for using Reinhardt Zarya as the tank combination, and built around that, usually you can run a number of different DPS, but the double sniper has to be one of my favorites. Having that Widowmaker on the high ground in the initial area, just ready to zoom in on the point, and Hanzo even flanking behind. We saw this in Overwatch League actually this week with a couple teams, so I'd like to see some double sniper personally.
Definitely one of the compositions that's really exciting to watch is that double sniper setup. I personally think it's crazy. You have headshots flying every which way, left, right, middle, and sideways. It's just a good time in my book. But funny that you should mention Overwatch League. I think one of the curious things that has been talked about a lot in the communities that really follow the league is they're playing on a separate patch from what our players will be running here in their game today. How do you expect the meta of our game maybe to vary from the meta of what people see in the Overwatch League?
Well, I will say this, Hanzo's even more powerful now in the newer patches. So without having Brigitte and with having Hanzo being the differences, the new Hanzo changes, that is, new Lucio changes, Junkrat nerfs, even Tracer Bomb being a little bit less powerful. I think mostly King's Row will stay the same. However, I do think there will be changes in other places. So King's Row, you're still going to have that Ryan Zarya as your primary comp if you have players who can run them. The double sniper's been effective even before the Brigitte and Hanzo changes. So I think we'll see more of the same here, but I've been surprised. I know neither group, Seven Sins or I think it was Toxic that was playing last time, I think both actually ran some alternate tank comps throughout the points. So I'm interested to see what they choose.
I have to say that sounds right on the money in my books. One of the things that I really like about this kind of level of competitive play is I won't say it necessarily has its own meta, but players are far more willing to step away from the textbook best comp of the hour and kind of play more their own game. We see a bit more variance in compositions from that perspective. And to me, that means we can see some really interesting stuff. Just the other day in Little Sardines versus Nova, we actually saw a lot of Genji play on King's Row just because the Little Sardines were just so comfortable running that character there. They were able to play it to some great success. Me, personally, I'm kind of hoping this will let us see some more weird stuff. Maybe some Reapers, Doomfists, not super favorite in the meta. I just like to see them played. Maybe that's just me.
Oh, Sleek, I gotta go against that. I hate seeing, well, I shouldn't say hate, that's such a strong word, but I hate seeing off-meta picks. I like seeing the standard cookie cutter comps go at it again and again, mirror matches for days, Don't switch off heroes. I'm kidding, of course. I'd like to see some variation too. I want to see what innovations people can pull off. But of course, the metagame is the metagame because millions of people are playing it. So I would not be surprised if they don't choose to throw in that crazy Doomfist unless they're trying to get back to point quickly.
Yeah, probably not going to be the Doomfist, as sad as that will make me here in this next one. One thing we might see a good bit of, maybe not on King's Row, but later today, is going to be probably still a good bit of dive, since Brigitte is not allowed in the Pretenders League just yet. That means that primary kind of counter to dive isn't really available yet. Junkrat, one of the strongest anti-dive characters, has been nerfed on our current client, so that's going to be my bold prediction for the evening. We're going to see a surprising amount of dive, if I do say so myself.
You know, what's funny is that Brigitte changed the meta in the way you're saying, and that dive has been a little less prominent, but in Overwatch League, it's been surprisingly unharmed, a little bit tame, if you will. Brigitte not making as nearly an impact as in other places. So I'm interested to see, too, with the newer patch, the one that isn't the 2-day-old patch that Overwatch League's playing on, how that actually will end up playing out in the long run for them. We're not going to see that from Overwatch League, but that's why we have these tournaments here, to actually see how this meta shapes out. So Pretenders, great tournament to see just a little bit of the meta from a different perspective. So, yeah, maybe we'll see a lot of dive. I hope so.
Potentially so. Just a little clarity for the audience at home. We called out Overwatch League for playing on 2-day-old patch, but technically we're playing on a patch that never existed, as we do have the new Hanzo, the nerfed Tracer and Junkrat, but Brigitte remains banned. So in that regard, this kind of meta that has never existed before can come into play here in the Pretenders League. That's something to keep an eye on here. How will teams adjust to the nerf Tracer, the nerf Junkrat, the buffed Hanzo, without the Swedish tank healer hybrid running around to mix things up? With that, I do believe we're ready to head on over to King's Row. We're going to start loading in and forming their compositions. I'm excited about this one, HX. You've told me you have already seen at least one of these teams. Do we know if the other has played here at all just yet?
Not 100% sure if Mercury Cougars, the other team I haven't seen, has played yet. I did miss the last match, so I have to go back and watch those and see what the results were. But King's Row, I don't know. I don't know anyone who isn't that familiar with King's Row at this point.
I have to agree on that. I guess the purpose of me saying that was, Mercury Cougars, this could be your first chance to earn yourself some fans. So if you're kind of new to watching Pretenders around here and you haven't yet found a team that really clicks with you, pay close attention to the MC team to see if they really strike your fancy in how they play the game here. Rolling out is the defense.
Well, I really like this comp here. Ember sitting on Reinhardt, Aeon sitting on Zarya, of course. We got that Zarya-Rein combo. Looks like the Cougars are running pretty much a standard comp here. The interesting thing on this, anytime you want to look at these comps on King's Row, I think the more interesting people to look at are the DPS. What did they choose to run to try to counter those double sniper or awkward comps? And that is Widow and Junkrat. So this comp is going to play back a little bit. Widow trying to get a strong angle to snipe the other Widow, try to catch her as she jumps into line of sight.
See how that sniper duel pans out already. Kind of in action here. We see some shots being traded back and forth. Rolling out a spawn. Chesh will get the opening kill in this one. I expect to see Sevenson maybe back up a little bit. No fear. Gonna march right on forward. Widowmaker or not. It's kind of easy for her to get back into her effective positioning. So I like this. They burned down Ember's barrier a bit. Some damage onto Spidey. Didn't quite find it. But now free shot, very high energy. Expect to continue push forward. Now coming through the hotel is the Zarya player. Shesh finds two! I don't know if Seven Sin can really sustain this push with these pickoffs. One res is good, but they're still down a man. Charge finds it onto the Zarya, but the shield will protect him from that. Zarya bubbles ping-ponging these Reinhardts around. Spidey falls down to Free Shot. Lord of Nothing will shut down the sniper. Free Shot at such a high level of charges, throwing out so much damage at this point, making it hard for anything else to happen here. Ember's Barrier is down, looking for the charge, finds the sniper. That is huge. This engagement becoming incredibly extended, but the closer respawns of Seven Spin gonna make this a bit easier. Graviton Surge finds the Mercy, sets up the enemy Zarya, and that should be point A in favor of Seven Sin.
Yeah, Chester's really popping off there and gotten tons of picks, and that should have actually been a win for the Mercury Cougars, but after the charge by Ember, we found Spidey a little bit out of position, and then got picked off there. Lord of Nothing got picked off, picked off Chesh. So it ended up being a bit more in the favor of Seven Sins than maybe it should have been.
I think a very impressive display of tank play there. Reinhardt and Zarya on your red side screen performing very well in my books. Now, Infrasight currently available for the between. Oh, Brox will fall down to the sniper Yada here. And really showing some proficiency on this character. Now Infrasight on favor of Seven Sin. I'm gonna expect a bit of caution from the Cougars here. They're gonna hang around this corner. Don't want to give up any free picks to this. Just gonna let that burn out before continuing to press forward. Hanzo flank, hello, getting behind enemy lines, finds Chesh, creates an opportunity to take out Aeon, and now Reinhardt duel going in favor of Ember. Riptire coming right on in here, does find two, and Spidey single-handedly really brings this fight back for his squad. Mushimi in a bit of trouble. Evergreen has been res. They could try and keep this run going. Not sure how I feel, but Spidey shuts down that idea. Takes out the Mercy and keeping the pressure on Evergreen. Brawling on the point, not giving Musashimi any space to really work with or be comfortable. He's got the Reinhardt trap, but over-aggresses and gets picked off by Brox.
Yeah, I'd like to see Spidey play a little bit further back on this Junkrat. He's getting really aggressive there, and it's definitely not panned out a couple times here. So, excellent tire on his part, however. He did manage to, it had two parts to that play, basically. He did get the tire early, but didn't really manage to pull him off the cart by himself. Play with the team.
Well, Amber misses the charge there, but doesn't get out of position. Able to redirect it into the wall. That's a big play there. But Ember will fall down. He got too low. This is the space advantage in favor of Seven Sins with the tank lying down and no Mercy to res. There is nothing that can be done by the Cougars but run away.
Yeah, Brock's got a hand on them there in the back, switching to that fair and shooting them from a different angle. Again, the same thing that Musashimi kind of took. It looks like Mercury Cougars, they got to kind of look behind them here. And this is definitely going to get the point here. I don't think they're going to be able to contest, and Seven Sin's going to take this one.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Certainly so. I wouldn't want them to contest there. That's just a good way to get staggered and lose your six-man fight. But speaking of six-man fight, it's going to be and about 5 ultimates both ways. Graviton is good on to the Cougars here, but no Dragon Strike coming through. That combo not available for them. Musashimi will fall, but get back up. Transcendence sustaining the blue team so very well. Earth Shatter into the Graviton. Seven Sins deep in trouble. That Transcendence was a little slow, but it saves a good bit of the team. The rest, the survivors, will have to back on out. Brox, just not enough horizontal mobility to get out of there. Fire Strike onto Chess keeps this engagement going a little bit longer. Doesn't look like there's going to be a pause in the action here. No, team's going to back up and regroup a little more.
Yeah, I liked how Spidey there was able to actually throw his grenade and his mine at the same time, burst them down through the Transcendence in that Graviton sent out by his teammate there. So, like to see, got an ult from him now.
Yeah, Riptire coming in, hanging around this right wall, looking for the tank player, does find Evergreen. This is a good advantage. I expect Seven Sin to back up, but seems King Bismar looking for the res. Jess just putting the icing on the cake with that Deadeye. Maybe not necessary, but it was cool, because now Seven Sin only have 2 minutes and 40 seconds to work with.
Right now, they've got the ult economy in their favor. I'd absolutely like to see this Graviton get used by Seven Sins while there is no ultimate, no support ultimate on the side of Dragon. Oh, and here's that.
So now they're combining it with the barrage here that will take out Ember. Chess gonna fall shortly afterwards. A nice little team wipe, not quite clean though. Spidey too far away to get caught, and we see Ushimi is rezzed there. But Seven Sins still on a roll here. Spidey died a little late. He's going to be 5v6 here for a moment. Ember does not find the charge. That's going to be a critical mistake. Does get the shatter, but Evergreens is one better. Pins down the Mercy. The Dragon Strike doing so much because of the flanker Hanzo coming through in a really big way there. The Transcendence is keeping the Cougars in this fight here, but answered back by Lord of Nothing's Transcendence. Usually the second Transcendence wins these engagements. It's just Aeon Nova trying to make it work alongside Hawk Zero. Lord of Nothing is res, and that could just be what Seven Sin needs. They're so close. Cougars have to stall out, but with Chess gone, they just don't have the tools anymore. Lucio will try, but is destroyed immediately, resulting in the full capture of King's Row.
I gotta say, I really like the coordination here on Seven Sin's side. The Shatter getting absolutely blocked. And honestly, the Reinhardt's just got great positioning. The team is staying in wonderful positioning behind him there and cleaning up. They're focused. They're really focused on shooting the things that are on the card and focusing which targets they want to focus. It definitely feels like a different Seven Sins than the one I was watching previously.
Good to hear they're really stepping up their game in that regard. Well, fans at home, this is kind of the benefit you get of watching these organized amateur leagues as opposed to just spectating ladder games. It's this higher level of communication and organization between these players. You see a greater deal of team play, and Seven Sins really demonstrating their ability to work together, especially their tanks. I've been very impressed with Evergreen and Free Shot here. They have done beautiful work with this combination.
Yeah, and I also gotta say, these Mercies aren't getting caught out either. That's another really important factor, especially in King's Row. There's oftentimes a big brawl that's going on, and as a Mercy, you kind of have this nice backline to go to. So you don't often get too much contest, but when those flanks come, like we saw from, I think it was, I don't remember who it was. The flank that we saw earlier. I think it was Musashimi on that flank. When you have those things happen, you just got to try to avoid that. And I believe when that happened, there were no Mercy picks there. So a good job staying alive. That's your job as a sport. Stay alive, keep everyone else alive.
Quick little shout out to King Bismarck and Hawk Zero over there. Don't really call out their names too terribly much, and that's kind of a good thing for your Mercy players. I only end up saying your name if you die, so they must be doing something right in that regard.
That or a risky res.
That or a very risky res. So I guess both survivability and discipline from both squads. So hey, looking well coordinated. Now Ember leading the charge, very aggressive, taking advantage of the Zarya bubble. Does charge Evergreen into the wall. Could be a good look, but gets pushed down by Free Shot. Damage is good. Musashimi found by Spidey, who went on this wonderful Junkrat flank, just put this pincer attack on to the enemy team here. He will fall down for it. Brock's just a little too good of a shot for that. It really looked like a good fight for the Cougars there for a second, but they just lost too much too early.
Yeah, I think Ember pushed in a little too quickly there and needed to play a little more shield play. Didn't wait for his heals to go up, but the focus fire on Seven Sins was just absolutely superb.
Truly was. Now we're gonna try again. Looks for that same pin and gets killed immediately for it. Coalescence can't save him here, but Chess is high energy, trying to make a play. Has Free Shot in the corner. DMX onto Aeon Nova, but here's the Graviton on the sides of Seven Sins. That's gonna win this fight out for them. Here comes the Riptire, not gonna do Spidey any favors. Just a little more trigger discipline on that one next time, pal.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised they were able to do that. I think they might have pushed in, and they being Mercury Cougars, might have pushed in a little too far there. The res from King Bismarck, though, onto Evergreen, right in the middle of them. I think they could have gotten him there, and that might have been the point.
That could have been. We'll see if they're able to find that kind of scenario again in this next one. Ember going for it again. Beware, he does not have the Discord Orb on him now. Aeon Nova taking the high ground. I like this way of kind of handling this Brawly composition. It does not work good from an elevation deficit. So I like to see this played. Shatter is blocked by Evergreen. Shader is actually just going to be back and forth. Aeon Nova going forward, finds 2. Dragon Strike through the point. Will take out the Moira here. This is still more or less an even fight, though. But with the kills onto King, Bismarck, and Brox, even is the last way I would describe this one. Shesh making good use of the high energy. Captures the point with 1:40 to spare.
Gotta love the Mercury Cougars game plan here. The triple tank. And what D.Va did there, what Aeon did, is he jumped up and took out Mutashimi on the high ground on the soldier. And that just absolutely shut them down, put them into a corner. Without a sort of Junkrat play or without the double sniper on the defense, it gets kind of tricky to get people off the point. Very easily get bullied on.
Now they have the Coalescence, and there should be a Riptire coming into this one. They get it over the wall. That will take 2. Transcendence does not stop burst damage. Ember chasing him away, but facing a tactical visor. That won't save you from a Zarya bubble. Musashimi, you fought honorably, but you will fall. Payload just getting pushed forward by one member of the Cougars right now. So Seven Sins will likely be able to regroup before it gets here. But for now, the Cougars in control.
Seven Sins has the Graviton, and let's just keep in mind that Moira's Coalescence on Chase's side here, not enough to actually heal through a big burst damage on that grab. So I'd like to see Seven Sins get that grab off.
The Shatter self-destruct combo will put down She-Shot, Free-Shot. We see the Coalescence kind of burning through. Some health bars cannot save the friendly Zarya. And now Ember's down here. Lots of people dead on both sides, but Seven Sin does not have the tank presence to go up and stall this payload. It looked a little even just in the kill feed, but not very much in practice.
Right, I wasn't sure that they had all 6 people there. There were still people pushing the payloads on Mercury Cougar side, so there definitely was a chance to have that team advantage or the numbers advantage there. They need to regroup a little bit faster. They definitely had a chance to contest and kind of missed the opportunity.
And they very much could have, but they're going to have the good one with the Shatter and the Graviton available. They're going to be able to do a lot of work onto the Cougars if they can find the follow-up in any form. And now they're pushed pretty far back. Evergreen kind of the front line here. Valkyrie going to be sustaining them. And now we see the Graviton go somewhere. No, did that get eaten? Because I'm not seeing a Graviton. Simply must have been the case here. And without that, the Cougars push dramatically messed up here. No big team ult available in that regard, so they're just gonna have to back on up.
Interesting play there with the res on Ember. I think kind of gave him a free 500 ult charge there on the other side. I did like the Hawk Zero ult initiating there. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more posturing here. This triple tank comp, you need to take your time. And they kind of charge in.
Okay, well now here's the Coalescence met by the counter Transcendence. No Dragon Strike immediately available, so not going to be an option. Earthshatter is good. Dragon Strike will be available on that side of the field. Going to clean up the supports. Just very, very few survivors, and I think that means 0 survivors with the death of Spidey. And Seven Sins really holding out well around this corner.
They definitely had the ult advantage there, and definitely had a great transcendence on More Nothing's part. Mercury Cougars, you need to posture a little bit more sustainably here. You can kind of run it in here, even right now without Spidey. You gotta have 6 people on your side before you push in too hard. Otherwise, you're gonna get hit.
Yeah, King Bismarck does get the res onto Brox. Ember looking for the charge. Pop on the payload. Coalescence to keep it moving here, but Earthshatter does find 2. Doesn't really put them in a killable position. That doesn't seem to matter to the Cougars, though. The Pulse Bomb combining to zone away the entirety of Seven Sins. Attack Visor can't stop that one. Here is the grab coming through from Free Shot. Gets on the points to contest, but it's just one woman, and it's just not going to be enough here. Just 0.3 meters. Make that none. We're going to a time-breaking round.
Wow, I gotta say, Ember had an excellent shatter on that. He just managed to get through the shield on the other side and just hit 3 people, and that pretty much cleaned it up. The Coalescence combo with that is one of the greater, I would say one of the more efficient combos when you have those Earth Shatters. So great job coordinating those on the side of Mercury Cougars.
And the ult play particularly important in these very tank-heavy comps, especially if you're trying to run triple tank of all things here. I was expecting a lot of things. I don't know if triple tank was among them.
No, I mean, it worked out great, I think, because one of the things, the advantages of triple tank when you're running is if you have supports that are great great on Mercy and Moira. When you have that much healing available to you, triple tank can brawl for a really long time. And what's interesting is if you can get into their backline with that, or if you can stop a little bit of the damage with the D.Va, you might open up some plays that you wouldn't otherwise have because you have that extra time. The problem with triple tank, of course, though, is it is very susceptible to ult economy battles where you're giving them a lot more ultimate charge than you might want to. So you got to be careful with it. You can't just take too much extra damage.
Incoming in 30 seconds.
True that, they do give up a few more ults than they would probably like, but their ult management, we already talked about how solid that was, making beautiful use of the setup through the Graviton Surge and the Earth Shatter, and even a really good self-destruct right at the end, making a lot of things possible. Take note, Spidey has set a little trap around the corner for Seven Sins. Not a very narrow path. I don't think we're going to see anyone get caught in that one, but we'll see as Red Team starting to roll on out here. Sniper duel already in progress between Chex and Brox here. Right, these shots being exchanged. Evergreen and Free Shot trying to find the space. Neither Widowmaker has anything just yet. Evergreen is here, looking to throw some hammer swipes the way of the blue team, but Spidey throws them back in a big way. Now spamming damage into the backline. This could be big. Aeon Nova is demeched early. Brox takes the Widowmaker duel. Seven Sins has a considerable advantage here. Pin onto Chase is good here. They have a lot of space to work with now on the payload. Ember kind of alone in the contesting battle. Falls down to Mushimi there, and the rest of the Cougars just have to back out in respect. Spidey hanging a little close. I don't know if he wants to be there. No, he does not. Falls down, and point A to Seven Sin in a very, very little time.
Yeah, the double sniper is great against D.Va. You might think, hey, D.Va, she can defense matrix all these sniper shots and take care of it, but sniper shots are one of the worst things for D.Va to absorb, so I'd like to see the swap off this D.Va at this point. There's a reason you run Reinhardt Zarya on this map, and a lot of it has to do with just that, the comp. And the snipers, yeah, you're not going to do much against them.
No, probably not. Interesting position for Spidey here. He's going to take that high ground, get really good damage spam coming on through. They want to contest at this corner. Reshot really burning that down. Here is the Graviton in the middle of everything. Counter Earth Shatter, not going to stop the dragons. Musashimi will walk away with 3 on that one. If I were to write a book on how to run this composition, instructions on how to do just that would be on pages 1, 2, and 3.
And look at the ults they used. They only used the Zarya grab and the Hanzo ult. So as a result, Free Shot, Musashimi, sure, they're not going to have ults, but they still got 3 left there. They got Evergreen, Lord of Nothing, and King Bismarck's ult. I think they might push this another set of the way here with this ult economy.
They could, and the kill onto Ember definitely going to help them out in that regard. Spidey looking to drive them back with the Rip Tower, coming around behind, but Mushimi will shut that one down. The absolute madman on the Hanzo really popping off in this overtime round. They do get the second point, and they're just going to keep on rolling here. Now, the Cougars have regrouped to the fight. They have the Valkyrie to bring them into this one. Dragon Strike will be damage boosted, but answered by the Transcendence. Sustain 7 Sins, but Chesh and Aeon will bring the rest of the damage here to finish off 3 kills. The Cougars will stabilize on the point and will move us to round 4. But Seven Sin, they got a hell of a ways for their time bank.
Yeah, and I think they could have gotten more if they used their ultimates there. King Cougar kind of got eaten up a little early. Maybe didn't want to combo his ult with the Transcendence there. So I think we kind of missed an ult there, an ult opportunity to survive in that case. So really, though, the coordination, there's going to be a hard point to push at that point either way. The Dragon that cut them off, cut the team in 2, and really it's just a cleanup mess. Even Mercy's ult might not have been able to save him there.
Likely not. Just the additional complication with how long they'd been on overtime. If they step off point for half a second, the overtime bar will just go up in smoke. Even if they could have maybe survived a bit more damage from the Dragon Strike and maybe like juked out of it. Well, if they juked out of it, point would have ended right then and there. So they tried to do the best that they could with what they had, and I have to say, they did quite a lot. Secured 2 points and got some distance into the third. It's a very defensible position for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And they held pretty well the first time, too. Really, it just comes down to one thing. Build your Zarya ult, and get that wipe when it's overtime. If you do that, you're good as gold.
One.
Well, we will see if the Cougars can outdo gold here. I guess there would be looking for platinum, then maybe diamonds. I don't know. Not much of an economist here. So, Ember peeks around the corner, gets a good fire strike, gonna give him a handy bit of charge to work with, and charge is good onto the Zarya. The bubble will eat it, but cannot sustain the rest of the damage. Aeon and Chess are down. Ember soon to follow, and there's gonna be the full disengage on the side of the Cougars.
Yeah, look at the ult difference here in terms of the players. Tried charging in there. Ember got a little bit of extra charge with the actual pin on Evergreen. However, he did feed a lot of the damage ults on the right side there, on the red side. Ooh, switch off to McCree here on the blue side.
See, gonna be the answer, or the attempted answer to Brock's there. We'll see if it pans on out. Evergreen just brawling at the front line, gets a surprising amount of results for that Berserker positioning. Ember will get rezzed out, and they are gonna push in all four together now. Shatter blocked by the shield. Not gonna be the same for the vice versa, but Ember tries to push out Lord of Nothing, just gets killed. The Coalescence doing so much, topping off the members of the Cougars. Musashimi, not anything you can do against the flashbang, and Chesh just showing us how to play McCree.
It's a little bit of a scary situation there. Surprisingly, Chesh just kind of popped off and able to get a really long kill on Lord of Nothing. So that resulted in the res that came out from King Bismarck, and that's why King Bismarck was killed really quickly there. Still, they've pulled off, they have the ultimate free shot. All they have to do is get this grab and finish. There is no defensive ult on the Mercury Cougar side to stop that. So let's see it happen here. Free shot, you got 5 ults on 7 Sin side. Time to finish it out.
Shouldn't be too terribly hard. The miss pin on the free shot, a good start for them. Brock's going forward, has to be aware of the McCree. Ember will fall down. Here is the Graviton gonna pull them away, and the combined damage ult will put them in the ground. Aeon Nova, DMEC'd, no survivors. Ladies and gentlemen, 7 Sin will take King's Row.
Well, it's like the old playbook for King's Row. You get it to overtime, you get the Graviton, you get them off the cart, you hope that you get further in point 2. So 7 Sins managed to do it better this time. It definitely all comes down to the Graviton, and that's what I'd like to see from Mercury Cougar side. Gotta get that Zarya, especially in the overtime scenario. The triple tank was great. The 2 tank, if you're gonna run 2, get the Zarya in there.
I have to agree, it was fun to see the innovation there. I hope that the Cougars will keep that sort of theory crafting up. And I believe we'll be heading over to Ilios next. Do you think they'll be able to run the same triple tank composition over there?
You know, it depends on the map. Ilios is a wide variety of different comps available to it. So if they get ruins, I think Chesh is kind of edging out the other Widowmaker right now. Brox or Musashimi, they both had some time on Widow, so I think they might be able to pull off ruins quite well. However, if they don't get that, then the triple tank, triple tank is kind of a tricky one. You don't really run it on too many of Ilios' points, but it might be viable on the well. You have Orisa, you have Roadhog, and then you have Diva to try to take care of some kind of Pharah sneakiness that 7 Sins was pulling off there. You do that, they might be able to take well as well, which means I think Mercury Cougars is going to be kind of favored on the Ilios side of things.
Definitely understanding why they've made this selection now. They've got the good Widowmaker play. They can play the tanks very well. That's probably going to look pretty solid for them. We're going to see a few substitutions coming through. Son of a Sphinx will be subbing in for Aeon Nova here on the side of Mercury Cougars. Across the way, Free Shot will be subbed out, in favor of Threepwood on 7 Sins. I know you've only seen the 7 Sins so far. Have you seen much of Threepwood yet?
I don't think I have.
Well,
Was
then
Free
it's...
Shot? Free Shot was on Zarya, if I recall.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that this is a strategic pick to use maybe an Orisa or a Roadhog, where Free Shot might not have that. So that's a pretty good. Looks like Free Shot is pretty much the Zarya ringer, if I remember correctly. So yeah, definitely a logical play there. That might put 7 Sins. It might give them a little bit of an advantage on or at least a little bit of up that they didn't have before.
We'll see how these substitutions will pan out for them. There's going to be a few more coming in. Let me grab that full list for you there. I believe we are also going to see Bismarck sub out for Sluss here for 7 Sins as well. We'll see what they're able to bring to the table. It's going to be a surprise, I guess, for everyone. Since again, not a lot of games have been played in Pretenders just yet. We don't know these rosters that well, and we certainly don't know their subs that well just yet. So expect some fun little mix-ups on Ilios here. I think we're going to see some fun stuff as far as these maps go. The potential for environmental kills, kind of the weird stuff you can do on ruins. If things ever get strange, this is going to be the place for it.
You know, it's funny. If we want to talk a little bit about control maps or King of the Hill maps or whatever you might call them, the ones where you're getting 1 point in the center of them, they oftentimes are, and probably intentionally varied for what kind of environments they have on them. The interesting thing, though, is you may only play on 2 of those maps. If you are able to shut down the first 2 maps, you might not have to worry about ruins, or you might not have to worry about the well, which are 2 very comp-specific maps. Well, of course, being famous for Zarya Roadhog, boop comps to knock people into the basket in the center, or ruins, where the Widowmaker long lines of sight can really shut people down. Dive comps can't even get really into the back to get that Widow. So, and then of course there's the standard brawling on a very kind of compact point that is the third one, whose name I can't quite remember. But yeah, it's very interesting. If we look at the other ones too, Lijiang Tower has kind of a similar thing. No, not so many boops, but the control room is often the brawl center. Oasis has the brawl center map too, as well as that big kind of obstruction in the center with City Center. So I like King of the Hill maps for that reason. You really do see the variance on them.
And just for the name obsessed at home, the other Ilios map that was not named is Lighthouse.
Lighthouse.
Yeah, it's the one with the lighthouse. That's how I remember it.
How tall is that lighthouse?
It's fairly tall. I would say it's about the height of the windmill we have on the well.
All right. You know, I've never really thought about it. I don't think I've ever actually looked at the lighthouse part of the map.
Yeah, it's an interesting lighthouse because you can like fly in through the top of it. I don't think normal lighthouses let far as maneuver like that. But I guess we can take a closer look at that when we get over there. But for now, we have the well. And the well means Orisa, it means Roadhog. It's probably going to mean Pharah as well, and certainly Lucio. Get ready for Enviro kills, folks.
Oh, this is my favorite kind of brawl here. This well really changes how you can engage on people. And that shield war between the Orisas could be the deciding factor as we roll out here onto Ilios. I'm wondering, will these Pharaohs have an epic battle in the sky, or will Mushishimi really dominate here and take Chesh out with this creeping?
That's what they're able to do. At least in my book, I'm favoring the composition here out from the Cougars. I like the Hanzo more in this barrier duel than the McCree. I think that's going to be a much more barrier break thing starting out already. Pharmacy duel in full force, but Chess falls down to Mushishimi. Ember pulls in Evergreen. It's 1-for-1 with point control. Probably going to favor the Cougars here. Brock's pulled out of the air. Ember just going fishing right now. That's 2 Enviro kills for this dude.
Oh man, Ember is just popping off there, and it's like you said, that shield just went down for 7 Sin. The zoning here on Ember's side is just another hook there on Threepwood by Ember. It's just crazy.
If he just saves Spidey there from certain death in the room, Evergreen will finish him off there, though. Res is possible, but might just get killed again. Res in a pretty dangerous spot. Brave move from Hawk Zero, just playing with the cover well. Now we're seeing a little bit of Frank Ember coming through with the whole hog, tries to push off the Orisa. 4 to 5 saves her just in time. Will not save Rocks, will not save Solus. Dragon Strike gonna zone them away some more for now. Seven Sins just cannot get close, and this capture progress now moving up to 40% in favor of the Cougars. Hold that thought, we're gonna see the whole hog from Threepwood, but he pushes Son of Sphinx over the well! That has to be the most painful feeling in the world. Oh, that just feels bad, man. My condolences.
I don't know, I think falling in the well might be the most painful feeling, rather than getting pushed over the well. But then again, the act of pushing someone across the well, I don't know. I wouldn't rate these in my top 3 of most painful things. It was interesting though, because Chesh is really not getting shut down over here, and if he doesn't get shut down, he's just gonna keep getting killed on that side.
He tried to get off that Deadeye ultimate, but Chesh, not impressed with his timekeeping device, will set him correctly to daylight saving, and now the barrage onto 3. No setup required. He'll die for it, but I don't think he matters. That's probably gonna be play of the game. Just gonna make that bold prediction here.
Yeah, unless there's a lot of people getting knocked into a well here, this is gonna be a hard one for Seven Sins to come back from. Looks like they're completely unable to get onto this point, being completely bullied off by Ember. They still got 3 ultimates here too, so they might have a chance to push in right now.
Yeah, Evergreen does touch on the point. This could be huge for them, but Rocks falls down. That sound barrier way too late, and he's pulled into the well. Not gonna happen for Seven Sins. And that is how you quickly end a fight on the well. And that is how you deny an ultimate advantage. The Cougars looking incredibly strong.
I have to say, you know, positioning there made a very big difference. Every single one of the Mercury Cougars players were playing back far enough that they just weren't able to get any shots in on them from the Seven Sins side. So just take that note. That's just basically textbook well when you have the point. Getting back onto the point's always tricky, but we'll have to save that for another match to see what the textbook version of that is. Let's look at this lighthouse, though, Sleek.
Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit earlier. I've known some people don't actually notice there's a lighthouse here for a while, just because it's actually so elevated above where you actually play. People just see this little hut on the side of a cliff. Very rarely does anyone but FAR players look up that high to see, oh hey, there's a lighthouse on top of this. But yes, that is exactly what it is, and that's what we're going to be fighting over now. Ember looking for the flank charge, won't find it, but Solus Prime falls down to Chesh. Very good McCree work right there. 4-0, going for the Brave Res, not seeing any smells of danger there. And now Ember looking for a pick, will slam the monkey into the ground, preserving this man advantage. That's some scary Reinhardt work from Ember, looking to clean up a few more. Chase contesting the point, Chest takes one more. Ember can't find the charge right there, but the man advantage is so solid on the side of the Cougars right now. They're just going to wrap this one up with a bow. And going to be a few staggered deaths on the side of Seven Spin, which is going to let a lot of capture progress stack up here.
Yeah, I don't think the dive comp really worked out for Seven Sins here. They were kind of playing it like a Zarya Rhine rather than playing it like a dive comp there, kind of posturing in front of their DPS and holding it. They need to get into that back line here. Once Ember starts swinging on that point, you've pretty much lost control. So go find those backline people, Seven Sins. You're bound to get a kill, especially on top of this lighthouse.
And now Evergreen gonna kind of lead the charge on this. Winston wants to find Chess or Chase here. I think it'll be towards the top of his priority list, but the flashbang says no. Just caught out. Earth Shatter will crush the Genji player. Lord of Nothing has nowhere to go. Him and Brock's trying to make something happen. They're just gonna die slowly, and Cougars should move up to about 50%, maybe even 60 before the next fight.
Yeah, they're not doing too well on Ulticami here on Seven Sins side. Looks like they didn't get much out of that. I think the ideal here is that if you're Winston, you got to get a kill before that Hanzo, before Spidey gets his second rapid fire. As soon as he gets that second rapid fire, first one's going to hit your shield. Second one, it's going to hit your face.
He will jump forward. Messed up by Ember a little bit. Solus Prime is down. Ember has done his job here. The res is good. Musashimi in the back line. Threepwood will pick up Son of Sheep. And now Deadeye being channeled here. Doesn't find anything just yet. Solus Prime gets the Enviro kill. Dragon Strike onto point, helps Ember find 2. The Mercy goes down, and it is all looking up for the Cougars. We will see the point flipped, but with that Earth Shatter, Evergreen and Solus cannot do anything more here. We get a little more time by flipping the point at the end, but this next one is going to be Seven Sins' last fight.
It was very interesting because the dive, it worked, but a very unfortunate pin onto Solus Prime pretty much sealed the deal on that one. The res was out of commission there on the 7 Sin side. And it was unfortunate.
Evergreen gonna lead the charge again. Dragon Strike coming through. Dragon Blade dropped at the same time, but Chess stuns him out of it. That's huge! And now the bomb inside of the Graviton, shielded by Ember. Trading back and forth in this brawl back. Shatter onto Solus Prime is huge for the Cougars. That's a huge amount of stall potential gone here. Respawn timers will not have time to come through here now. The tank line just cannot survive that much damage. And in incredibly convincing fashion, the Mercury Cougars will dominate on Helios.
Victory.
Very interesting. You know, I'm not too happy with the particular setup early on from the dive on 7 Sin side. It felt a lot less coordinated than their Zarya Rein play on King's Row. And here we see, of course, we play the game not that good. Interesting little kill onto Lucio there. One thing that's interesting about Lucio grips on this one, Orisa players out there. If you grip him towards the edge, he can grab on that wall and get out of there. You grip him right in the middle, he goes down. Anyway, what I'd like to see is play dive like dive. That last push by 7 Sins, they seem to have it together. And they really only lost, they converted the point, but they really only lost the point control there because ult economy. They got pushed out by a dragon, they got pushed out by a couple other ults, and weren't able to hold it. So if you posture properly, you get your dive early on, you're not going to have that ult economy battle in addition to the dive battle.
You heard it there first. It is now going to be the choice for 7 Sins on the next map. We'll have to wait out for their selection in that regard. Any predictions, HX?
What map was coming up next?
That is a very good question. That we'll just have to see, I guess. I've always had trouble just predicting maps in general.
Well, in that case, you know, honestly, I think it could go either way. Both teams are playing really well. Both teams basically have done what they need to do. You know, it was a very convincing play by Mercury Cougars there. They definitely shut down 7 Sins. They only gave up about 11% control there. So that might signal a turnaround there in momentum. So Mercury Cougars might be a little favored here if they keep that momentum going. Halftime, of course, will kind of shut that down a little bit. But I think it could go either way. It really depends. Maybe control maps just haven't been, or rather King of the Hill maps just haven't been what 7 Sins have really practiced. So let's see what happens. Let's see what comps they pick early in the next match, and then I'll make a better prediction then.
Well, all right. Then, well, at this particular moment, we will be going into a 10-minute halftime. So go ahead, get up, go get your water, move to the restroom, and we'll see you here shortly.
Traveling to Horizon Lunar Colony.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here, resuming play in our game number 3 between Seven Sins and the Mercury Cougars here. Thank you for sticking with us through our short little pause there to give our players a chance to rebreathe and refresh. HX, we're here on the moon. My expectations, I'd say, are out of this world right now.
I see what you did there, Sleek. I definitely have a telescope on your actions. Oh, I guess that should be a microscope. But regardless, I'm excited to see this. Lunar Colony has to be one of my favorite maps. I'm especially looking forward to the redesign on the map too that's coming up in June or July. Yeah, let's see what happens here. A lot of different comp.
Can be, and looks like moving towards the point now. We will have the Cougars setting up with this Orisa and a Roadhog again. I definitely like this particular tank combination for the ability to really contest on point very well. The Orisa lets you really spam out damage safely from a distance, and then Ember on this Roadhog is going to be able to guard these side doors so well.
The hunter lays a trap for his prey.
Up ahead here, Spidey setting up a cheeky little trap in this often used corner. Let's see how that works out for him as this game begins. Interesting thing here on the comp side, of course, Orisa Hog on defense. This is pretty common. Lets you shoot down the corridor as Orisa, get a little bit of extra damage on the push. Can be a little bit tricky though when flanks happen, so watch for that. See if the flanks one from the left, one from the right. Just gonna only block one side.
There's going to be double snipers for Seven Sins. That's going to be really hard with this barrier blocking so many of their shots. We'll see if Rox can get around it as the rest of his team will flank up the right-hand side here. Gonna look to push in through the point that way. His shield already adjusted for it. Hook not gonna be good from Ember. Evergreen pushing through the barrier here. He has a team behind him, but the DPS players don't have good lines of sight just yet. They're gonna have to back up, or Chess is gonna give them a bad time. Fighting, continuing to hail out the damage. It's kind of their win condition in this fight, is they'll just consistently keep the enemy team low, stop them from really being able to engage well. So now they're here as 5. There's the charge, does not connect onto anything, but gets into the back line. Can't find a healer, and that one's big. Graviton catches the entire team, but where's the follow-up? Spoiler alert, not here, because Spidey follows up onto Free Shot, actually. Now Evergreen's going to be able to chase down this Zenyatta. Does not find the charge, but it's him against the world now, and the Cougars are able to turn it around off of a wonderful Riptire from Spidey.
Interesting ultimate there by Free Shot. Gotta say, he charged that ultimate extremely quickly. Landed on a lot of players too, but because Evergreen was already down with what I would consider a little bit of a premature charge there, you know, when your barrier breaks, you don't have to hit that shift button. You can back out. So Evergreen, I would like to see that next time, but I think the res went on it great. You need to see a better follow.
There's a bit of a problem. Very rarely do you see the Graviton charge before the Dragon Strike, but that is kind of what happened. Free Shot chewed up by Chesh there, showing he's got a nice Tracer in his pool as well. Gonna force out an early res. Evergreen does not have his barrier now. Fan damage about to go up to a 10 here. Interesting to note though, Spidey now on this Hanzo instead of the Junkrat. The spam's actually going down as they go up. Just caught by the Storm Arrow. This is the opportunity, but Ember pushing them away with the whole Hog ultimate. They want to push this man advantage, but with Chesh so far away, the Shatter is good. That will take out the True Tank. Force out the Transcendence, nice and early. Supercharger comes on out, but second Transcendence is traded into that one. Another Graviton, but the Dragon Strike isn't on the mark. Instead, Spidey is going to take out Dragon Eye, and it's kind of became really close there for a second, but Evergreen, the last man standing for Seven Sins, can't stay standing for any longer. And now they have a minute to take this point in its entirety.
I really hope Evergreen gets a little bit of props for that one. That was an excellent flank, kind of brought on by accident because Ember kind of pushed him out the window. Not able to follow up on it though. That Transcendence from Chase pretty much saved the day there. So kudos to him for not getting caught in that Shatter too well. And, kudos on Free Shot for 2 grabs so far. Fight number 3. I'm pushing for grab number 3 on this one.
He's been working it fast, but he's got a long way to go in this one. Now pushing in from the opposite side this time, but Chess gets the pulse bomb onto Musashimi. He dies for it, and now Ember trying to push forward. Earth Shatter doesn't find too much, but the Rocket Barrage from behind, it's the flanker. Farah sets up 3 kills in that engagement, forces the res, the Mercy's down. Seven Sins run it back with scarcely a few seconds on the clock. Chase tries to burn down that little bit of time more, die to regroup with his team, but Seven Sins at almost the last second will go ahead and capture this.
Well, what is there to say? When you flank, you stop Orisa. That's just what Brox did there. He got up behind them, got that ultimate, and pretty much punished them for their, again, for not really looking behind them. Someone get the rear view mirrors here for these guys. You know, we got the technology to make flying suits. Hopefully they get eyes behind their head.
Oh, it would be completely OP if you had rear view mirrors, honestly. But now Ember caught in this room alone. Only so much a Hog can survive, but apparently being caught in a room with 5 enemy players is in fact on that list here. Still a little isolated. Pin's no good. Dragon Strike should get some work done here. The Transcendence will save Musashimi and Evergreen, who continues to just hammer down Son of a Sphinx here. The healing coming through is really solid here. Musashimi doing great amounts of damage. Rez will bring back the Orisa and its Transcendence. That should allow a good contest here, but there's just no damage. And the Graviton after the Transcendence is unsurvivable. Free shot closes out that fight, and that will be the full cap here on Hanamura. 3 minutes to spare. By Hanamura, I meant Horizon.
You know what's interesting about this is this happens a lot in 2CP where you come off of point A, you get on to point B, and you pretty much win right away. And a lot of that has to do with the res timer. When you are in overtime, the res timer goes from 8 seconds to 12. And so Cougars on the backside there were not really all ready to prepared after dying on that point. That's one of the big reasons you got to try to die on the point, not off the point, trying to survive there. Though, again, I don't think they were really in a position to do that in this case. That's really what happened there. They punished Ember there, who was kind of sitting off point with the Roadhog, trying to do all he could to do that. At the end of the day, though, that's what it's all about, really. You know, take advantage of those kind of game mechanics with the overtime 12-second timer there. Another thing I'd like to point out: free shot, 3 Gravitons in 5 minutes. That is a statistic that everyone should be shooting for, and he built it. I guarantee he built that a lot off that Roadhog there.
The Roadhog, an infamous ult charge battery for the enemy team. The take a breather buffs that he got a while back helped a lot with that damage mitigation. He can now, since not as much damage is being done to him, less of it goes into charge. That's all nice and helpful for him. So, that considered, very impressive that Free Shot was able to make that happen. My question for you, HX, though, is can he continue to do that on the defense? The aggressive posturing of the offensive team really favors what this Zarya wants to do here, and the large charge time of the Graviton combined with its team-winning properties really favors the one fight to win it task of the attackers as opposed to the defenders here. Is he going to be able to find the same level of success here?
You know, it's going to be interesting. He's going against a Junkrat here, so I think he is. He's going to get the massive charge and be able to kind of build that quickly. The question is just how fast are Cougars going to push in? You know, I've seen some pretty strong pushing from the Cougars on the King of the Hill points. There's a chance there, but Brox on the Pharah, I think that's going to be the bigger factor. See how Brox does.
Sniper detected.
Now he's kind of actually on the backside, finds Chesh there, and that's going to give him some friendly skies to fly in. He's going to be able to pump these missiles into this server room. That's going to make life very difficult. Now that Evergreen has come up in there, they want to fight up here if they can. Our team isn't here just yet. Ember will not find that charge. Evergreen can't punish just yet. There's a lot of damage. He has to respect here. Musashimi finds Chase on the backside. Fighting will answer him back here. Chesh is back. Does take out the enemy Mercy from a long range here. This one's probably going to favor the Cougars here. Free shot, the last big hope in this one. Lord of Nothing will go on down. Son of a Sphinx just trying to clean up this last kill. The rest of his team held up considerably by Brox. Buys a lot of time for respawns. This could be big, but as soon as the Cougars push forward, they should have this. Took them a while because they don't have tanks. It's going to be hard to take care of free shot with their surviving members. They're not going to be able to full capture just yet because Evergreen is back here. Coalescence slows them down. Ember with the long-range charge pushes him off the point here. This could be the stall they need. Sins might not be able to get back on the point. Free shot forces his way in. A massive shatter will clean it up, courtesy of a rocket barrage. Brox makes it all happen. It came right on down to the wire for holding A. And Brox really stretched out those seconds there and closed out the fight himself.
Gotta say, good discipline on the 7 Sin side there. Waiting off point till they had a really good regroup and then were able to use their ultimates to get back on. I'll give them one negative side though. Fighting up in that server room did not let them take advantage of their Zenyatta. And that's what they needed to do. Both their Hanzo and Zenyatta weren't really able to take advantage. Mushishimi tried to make up for that by climbing up onto the side, ended up getting a pick, but Mercy undid it, as they undid Mushishimi up on the top.
Actually, I really like that communication on the side of the Cougars to say, oh no, we lost a player, and now the enemy's charging up in the server room and say, wait a second, this is good for us. Let's fight this. Sure, we're down a man, but fighting at the top of these stairs, really good. Brox goes up and down with the res. Ember charges right on in here. Evergreen charges right on out, and Chess will punish him here. Ember under a lot of pressure. Brox continuing to bring down so much direct damage. Dragon Strike onto the point, puts Ember in a lot of trouble. Tries to find the Zenyatta player. DMX is good onto Son of Sphinx here. And without the tanks, there's just no way to protect these immobile DPS heroes. And the Cougars just have to get out of there.
Feels like an economy push there from the Cougars side. Basically, they spent all their eggs in the last basket of that push. And now it's not looking good either on this side. They got the Zenyatta ult on Lord of Nothing there. As long as they have the discipline on 7 Sin side to stay on the point, I don't think there's much they can do. Chesh gonna have to find that Mercy in the back, Dragon Eye. If he can do that, they might have a chance here, but there's no ult to come here. Ember, maybe he can get a shatter.
It's gonna have to be some really big pulse bomb usage from Chess. Needs to get that target. The life's gonna be very difficult for them. Here's the Coalescence to give them some space. The pulse bomb is good onto free shot. Yeah, I'd say that counts as the desired target. They back out when the Transcendence comes in. This one's looking good for the Cougars here. Shatter, however, is awesome. Sun's chasing Ember, but Evergreen dies as soon as he uses it, so he can't follow up on his own damage. Rocket Barrage tries to come through, does get some damage, but Ember swats down the Pharah, and the team kill will secure point A of Horizon.
Same deal here. You're gonna have Brox on a very short res though, because the overtime wasn't quite in effect when he got killed. So looks like 7 Sin's gonna be able to regroup where they're pushing it right now.
And he's very aggressive. Ember cannot find the pin because of the Zarya bubbles, but that's both of them expended at once. Lord of Nothing takes him out here. Dragon Strike has no CC to work with. Son of Sphinx caught inside the enemy Graviton. Dragon Strike from behind. Musashimi with a crazy sneaky play takes out 2 to wrap up this fight.
It's not always wrong to flank on Hanzo, but that was a case where, you know, it was just the most right thing you can do. So, very interesting play by Musashimi there. I like how they regrouped there, though, on the 7 Sin side. They were down a bit on ultimates there, but now Cougars got the ult advantage. I think we're going to see a very strong push on this one. Gotta get a sneaky self-destruct here, though, on Son of Sphinx's side. Very difficult to get that against both Ryan and Zarya.
I'm keeping eyes on Chesh here. He's made a big play last time. We'll see if he can do it again. Ember being sustained by the Coalescence, but his ult is blocked off there. Pulse Bomb is good onto Musashimi once more. Jace finishes off Brox here, and that ultimate usage is exactly where it needed to be. Free shot trying to make it happen while he can. The Reinhardt pushed away from the self-destruct, so he can't block it, but there was no one to kill! There was no need to push the Reinhardt away, and with that, we're going to the time bank round.
Yep, all came down to ultimates. Really, Cougars had the ult advantage there, and they pushed in and got those early picks. I think we might have had a little bit of a late Mercy ult there on the 7 Sin side, which resulted in some people taking some deaths that maybe didn't need to. Evergreen, as on Reinhardt, just got absolutely destroyed. He blocks the shatter, but still goes down, just to all the extra damage when he dropped his shield the second time. So, just a very scary place to be when you're Reinhardt. got to get those extra heals on him. Got to get those extra, you know, damage blocking from other sources too. The Diva, I gotta say, bit surprised that it worked out there. So good on Cougars for that tank lineup. Very interesting.
They know what they like to do, and they stick to it. That's what I like to see from teams at this level. Find your comfort, find your play, and run it till the end of time. We'll see if they keep that up here, as sides have now been reversed. Cougars will be going straight back to attack here, as they didn't get point B as fast as their opponents did. So they have about 30 seconds left. Not a huge deal, but a significant edge, if not the biggest deal in the world.
Looks like Chesh starting off on that McCree, and Sphinx switching over to Zarya, not on the Diva anymore. So a little bit of last minute change there on the Cougar side, going to be a little bit of an extra time on this push. Usually, you know, you see these overtimes, you see 1 minute push. They got 2 minutes here, so time to build up a little bit of ult, guarantee that point A charge or point A cap, or are they going to just build ultimates and guarantee it, or are they going to wait? Are they going to kind of push in hard to get those ultimates? Go for everything.
We'll have to see. Right now they're in a bit of trouble because the Hanzo and McCree are far away from literally everybody else. We do see Chess is able to get back there. Spidey does regroup as well. Reinhardt's charge meet in the middle. Damage spamming right on out. Ember falls down, could not get his shield back in time. And now the Cougars forced to turn tail and run. Rocks finishing off these kills to make their regroup time that much longer. Chess cannot get away on McCorgy over there. And Hawk Zero, oh, he's in a dangerous spot, but Son of Sphinx will keep him safe.
If your goal is to build ultimates on that food push, Cougars didn't really get that done. Looks like Mushishimi kind of got more ult charge out of it, as well as Evergreen there. I think that Reinhardt charge on Evergreen is a big deal. Also, both Mercies are pretty close here, so let's see what happens.
Ult's going to be big in this next one. Ember, looking to start things off here, has to be aware of Evergreen's Shatter. Dragon Strike Atakamu right off the front, separates Ember from his team, but there needed to be the follow-up on the kill. Evergreen hard commits to find him, but gets found himself. Rox keeps it even, but the Valkyrie sustains the Cougars so very well here. Healing coming through for them all. Lord of Nothing falls down. Rocket Barrage into a narrow space, does find Chase, but makes it easy for the Dragon Strike to pick him up. Son of Sphinx finds once more kills going every which way. Ember tries to kick out Evergreen. Should be able to. The Earth Shatter is huge. The damage will put down his Reinhardt opponent and stun Free Shot long enough to kill him. They should be able to capture this point here, especially with Spidey wrapping up the Mercy at the end.
Very close one there. I think it could have gone either way, but because Evergreen kind of committed to that jump down onto the point there, where he jumped off the point, through the window, he ended up being in a place where Dragon Eye kind of had to find, you know, a different way to get in there to get that res. The result of it being away, they kind of fell apart in the back line.
Now here's going to be the hard charge in from the Cougars, using the Transcendence and the charge. Get in there very quickly. Might have been a little early here. And now the Deadeye is good to put down the Mercy Flare. You cannot hide at that angle, Son of Sphinx here. It's 1 for 1 because of the ultimates. Sun is good. Rox falls down to Spidey. Rez will bring back the Zarya for the Cougars, but not as much charge as when she died. Now the Dragon Strike to zone away 7-spin. Evergreen does not care. Charges in. Finds Ember with it. Harmony Orb will keep him alive for a while. Last second Shatter will be enough to turn this fight around in favor of 7 Sins.
No, it's kind of a not often used strategy in certain brackets of play. But when you're down to overtime, taking that last fight, it's best to time it as close to overtime as possible. What happens there is Cougars actually had the upper hand. They got on the point, they had the picks, they had the man advantage, but because they killed people before the overtime hit, those 8-second reses allowed 7 Sins to get back on the point really quickly. So if they waited about 10 more seconds to engage and engage with the same effectiveness there, they might have gotten those 12-second reses and actually might have taken that point or at least gotten a few ticks.
Could have been, but could have, should have, would have. They have made defensible progress here by capturing point A. If they can get the holdout right here, they can take Horizon. Otherwise, they're going to be facing Match point
Attackers
here
incoming
in
30
map number
seconds.
4, and neither team wants to be in this situation. This overtime attack round will have huge ramifications for both sides.
Yeah, now a lot more time on the time bank here because of the way that played out. We know that you're down one game right now at 7 Sins, so you definitely want to try to get the win here. As a result, I'd take some time, get your ultimates build up on the first push, throw one push away here, and then try to get kind of a strong one-tick push onto point B right off of that. I think that's your best chance to win here. So let's take an economy push here. Really get those, like, get a little bit of poke. See if you can maybe get a pick and push in for a win.
We'll see how that translates into practice here. As 7 Sins will move forward, Chess is back on this Tracer, trying to get behind enemy lines. Has to beware of Brox, who puts down Spidey nice and early. This is a good opportunity across the way. Rez forced early. Musashimi puts him down once more. These DPS guys are tired of Spidey's Hanzo. Not going to deal with it any longer if they have anything good to say about it. Musashimi coming around the side, trying to work around this barrier, but has to beware of the Tracer, who's put him very, very low here. Now, using this side angle to attack really cuts off reinforcements should they start to come in after a few picks. And now, Shimi, free shot. That is an ugly way to kill a Tracer. Kind of throws the pulse bomb back in their face with the shield. They're gonna push on forward here. Free shot has a lot of charge, but Evergreen is stopped by the Fortify. Hawk Zero shot out of the air there by Free Shot. It's just Chase. Never mind. Ember's here, but he's dead too. And 7 Sins will be able to move on to point B. It's about a minute. No, wait, hold on. Chess is going to try and touch the point here. He's fighting into a lot of pressure, but he just wants to burn down this clock here. Time is so preciously limited, and he wasted a decent chunk of 7 Sins point B push time. We'll see if they're able to make it up.
Yeah, good play on his part there.
My
As long as you're
ultimate
close,
is
you might as well
almost
get
dead.
as their Tracer. One thing I'd like to note is that Hawk Zero, he lost his ult there after he got shot out of the air. I think he might have popped that a little bit late or a little bit too soon. One or the other. He might want to have that on. They only got one tick here, though. They're pushing in. And, gotta get on that point.
Here's the damage booster that will burn down Evergreen very quickly, but Free Shot still here has the Graviton. Bronx still has his Rocket Barrage, but the rest of the team just wasn't there. Free Shot was on point alone, and they're going to be waiting for his respawn here.
I think he was thinking he's not going to be able to run away quickly here. They've got 5 ults built up. They're going to get their 6th ult here. They really just got to use them all. Just take the enemy off point here. If they can take Cougars off of the point, pretty much got it. Gotta watch out for that Chesh play, though. He definitely snuck up on Evergreen there and got, I think, a little bit of a sneaky pick with the damage.
But now he throws out the pulse bomb. He doesn't find it, but I like the sneak attack angle. If he finds that hit, it's going to be completely unpunished and would have been huge here. But now Evergreen trying to make space, cannot deal with the whole hog. Thrown every which way. The barrage from Brox does find 2 here. Dragon striking an empty grab, though, is Musashimi. Maybe not the play they wanted, but it might just be enough. They find enough picks here. They're still getting that damage boost from the Valkyrie. The Earth Shatter will throw away Spidey. Transcendence at the last second is going to allow more respawns here. Counter Transcendence not going to be available from Lord of Nothing. And now Brox takes out Chase here. Son of Sphinx wants to stall it, but not enough. 7 Sins will take away Horizon Lunar Colony. We will be going to a Game 4.
Game 5 even.
Play of the game.
Wait, are we up to Game 5?
Yeah.
For sure. That was map 3.
Okay.
We went King's Row, Ilios, Horizon.
Man, such a decisive victory, though, there from 7 Sins. Yeah. Gotta say, you know, they had, again, just like with their King's Row play, they showed a lot of discipline there, where they weren't really showing it with their dive comp. So if they're forced onto a dive-oriented map, I want to see that same level of ultimate discipline and push discipline there. With that, I think they can really, you know, they could be a favorite in the league if they can pull their King of the Hills together. Crazy good coordination.
Their pushes are just fantastic, and I could not be more thrilled to be watching more of these guys on our next map. So we started Hybrid, went King of the Hill, have now done Assault. Looks like it's time for Escort. And in our map pool, we have Junkertown and Gibraltar. HX, this is the only way I ask for a prediction, and instead, I'm going to give one. I'm going to call it Junkertown. Teams love to play Junkertown. The last league that I casted for, anytime we let the players choose, they went Junkertown. And looking at the chat lobby, I'm completely wrong. Joy. We're going to Gibraltar, folks.
Surprise! You know, Gibraltar's a great pick if you've got a great Widow. It's great on point 1, great on point 3, and might be trying to play to Chesh's strengths here. Definitely was dominating pretty well on Tracer at the end of that last game. So even though they didn't win, Chesh is pretty much a very strong player there. You know, Seven Sins side of things, though, Mushishimi has proven very, very strong on this Hanzo. I'm not sure if it translates too well to his Widowmaker. We didn't get to see too much of it. We didn't see Brox on that Widowmaker. I know Seven Sins possibly going to make a few swaps here. Not sure what those might be. This is a interesting map, though, for the off-tank, because Zarya, free shot, that is his character. That free shot is a Zarya player through and through. If you have free shot on your side, you're going to play Zarya. But dive can be incredibly important at the first push of Gibraltar. So I want to see that. What are they going to do? Is Seven Sins going to opt for that dive to kind of weigh themselves into the first part of the map, or are they going to switch into Threepwood and aim to win the second half of the map?
We'll see what they decide to do. We definitely see Lord of Nothing has been subbed out for King Bismarck. That I do think that's going to be the only sub they make. Free Shot will seeming to return to do some more Zarya stuff. I'm all about that plan. Free Shot has had the time to get warm and stay warm. To me, that's a really important thing in these extended sets. Momentum, getting in the rhythm. And Free Shot is 100% in the rhythm, especially after the showing he had on Horizon Lunar Colony. He's very much going to be looking to bring this one home for the Seven Sins and end things on Gibraltar if they can. Across the way, backs against the wall is the Mercury Cougars here. What are they going to do in this do-or-die scenario?
At watch point Gibraltar.
Well, I think you play to your strengths. You're on Gibraltar, you use the Widow, you set up good angle, and I think they just need to demonstrate a little bit more patience on their pushes. I think that's one of the things that kind of held them back. I think right now, if I had to make any predictions as to skill levels of each team, and I know this, I don't want to step on any toes here, but right now I think you got the stronger mechanical players here on the Cougar side. You got a little bit of stronger situational players, the stronger teamwork plays on the Seven Sins side. So what I want to see is I want to see Cougars up their team play a little bit here, and then I think they might have a chance of taking this. Seven Sins can't really up your mechanics play in the middle of a game. Got to kind of hit the court, take those free throws. Sports ball, for those of you that don't know, maybe take a few free throws there, get into the aim training grounds a little bit, or whatever have you after this match.
Well, team's looking prepared. Is that 6 supports covered on the side of Seven Sins, or are my eyes going bad here?
Oh yeah, 6 support side. You never die because you have an infinite amount of healing.
So, actually, funny thing, the first game of Overwatch I ever cast before an audience, a team actually rolled this out on Icon and actually had a lot of success just because the enemy team was not at all prepared. Okay, alright, they are switching back away from that.
The dragon awakens.
Those memories are not fond memories that I just described.
Now they're even more supports here. Don't have Brigitte, of course, in the Pretenders League, but Symmetra, the support emeritus.
Now, Chess had the res forced out onto him by losing that Whittle duel initially. Will fall to Brox once more. That's not in the Mercury Cougars game plan. That means Evergreen has the room to jump onto this backline. Brox finishes off the Zenyatta across the way. Evergreen will die for it, but man advantage is conserved. The res is good. Dragon Eye playing very, very fearlessly. That's going to pay off for his team as they look to push through this choke point under the bridge. Charge forward from Ember, but he's surrounded by so many enemies and cut off by the barrier. He's going to die. No questions asked here. Jess falls down to Brox once more. This man is having an incredible game on the Widowmaker. Evergreen free to jump on the enemy once more. Falls to Spidey, who wants to make the hero play on this Genji, but is gonna fall down to the Zenyatta. Everyone knows Genji's hard countered by the Zenyatta, obviously. And as a result, oh hello, Ember, he does come back. There could be a contest in this last 1/8 of a meter, but his health just getting burned down. Should die any second now. Chesh is back to help him out though. It took a good 10 seconds longer than I think Seven Sins was counting on, but they do secure point A.
Yeah, Brox here getting a little bit of revenge on Chesh for that early King's Row couple picks that he managed to get on him there. So great job on his part. When I said, up your mechanics between games, I think Brox might have just gone ahead and, did a few finger exercises when I said that. So great job on his part there. Definitely opened it up. And dive coordination. Seven Sins, you got this game. You keep this up.
Well now, Spidey on the high ground, trying to do something about this D.Va that's going to make these defenses a lot harder. Brox will take checks once more here, not giving him anything. The man can't be stopped, and Dragon Strike will get the D-Mech here. We're going to see the self-destruct was attempted to remake. Dragon Blade comes through, but shut down once more. Brox has hit nothing but headshots all game. How do you fight that? I don't know. Hawk Zero can't. He's dead.
Might be time to pull out that triple tank again on the Cougar side here, because Brox seems to be an unstoppable force at this point. Even shooting that D.Va immediately after she pops self-destruct. I want to say something, Cougars here. I want to say something like you're doing something wrong here, but it's more like Brox is doing everything right. With another pick here on Jesse.
Yep, and now Ember falls down to King Vixmark. We see Spidey a bit far forward with that Discord Orb on him. Self-destruct on the point. Free shot. You okay over there, pal? I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see what happened over there. I'm gonna assume it was an important play there. And now we're gonna see Brock continuing to shoot from the high ground with this damage boost, making life so difficult for the Cougars here. But the shatter onto 2 definitely going to help things out here, but he can't secure either of the kills. The Transcendence will save them both here. Brox falls down, but the rest of Seven Sins is ready to come in and pull their own weight. Dragon Strike eaten by Free Shot there. Looks like Seven Sins is just going to roll right onto this point here. Chase stalling with the Transcendence, getting pushed away by Evergreen. These supports really doing the rest of stalled out. Ember's here in time too, looking to bring the hammer. Falls down to the Monkey Man. Spidey's back on the May. Stall tactics in full force here. Dragon Strike in spawn goes away some defenders, but Son of a Sphinx doing so much alongside Spidey. The respawns will start to come through. Seven Sins starting to lose some bodies here. They've got a lot left though. Chase and Chas trying to make it happen. Not enough. It got scary there for a second, but Seven Sins will fully roll on through Gibraltar.
Yeah, that was such a decisive play there. I think that might have been the most decisive victory that I've seen in Pretenders so far. Brox, I want to talk a little bit about this dive too. Brox is enabled by the dive on the other side, by Evergreen, by Free Shot on this Winston D.Va. And Winston and D.Va, of course, are able to stay alive because of these supports. So this is truly a team effort. When you have that space that's created by your dive team, by well-coordinated attacks on backlines, or even on front lines, then you enable your snipers to get those picks. Chesh probably is getting a lot of stuff in his face. So here's what you need to see from Cougars here. They don't have to worry about getting that payload there quickly. They just got to get it to the end. No matter what, the overtime is going to happen. The time bank will happen. So what we need to see is take advantage of your attacking position. It tends to be favored for Widowmakers on the attack side because you're kind of stationary when you're on the defensive side. Otherwise, the payload just keeps pushing if you keep falling back. So that's what we got to see here. We got to see either some cheeky Bastion play here, but I think we just got to see the Widow Chase pop off as much as Brox did.
It is beautiful here.
That is a tall order, man. Much easier said than done. Brox, I don't want to say his performance was untoppable, but if you were to do much better than that, you would basically just have to be hitting headshots just every time the Widow's Kiss charged up. Just like back to back to back. Because if that's what it felt like Brox was doing, that's just intimidating. If you're over there in the Cougars comms, it's really important, kind of a test for the team now to not let that get to their heads, and talk about what their answer is gonna be, and just finding their new game plan to deal with this sudden step up in Widowmaker play. They're gonna go onto the high ground here, try to make some space here, but Ember just really alone in here and gonna fall down as a result. Chess taken out by Brox once more. The man refuses to slow down. Evergreen is on chase here, lands on him, crushes the bot. Spidey will take him out, but that is just about the only thing going the way of the Cougars right now. Hawk Zero wants to get away to safety. Does actually able to do that. Dragon Eye, a bit aggressive Mercy positioning there. And now Spidey takes out King's Bismarck here. It is rezzed out, but the D-Mech onto free shot is good. This could be the second win coming right on through. Chess coming forward with the deflect, zones out Brox a healthy bit. And now they're keeping this payload moving. They've got some control of this high ground to dive from. Dragon Strike heading towards the point here. D-Mech, Son of Sphinx, that's a big opener there. Ember under a lot of pressure here. Discord Orb allows him to be burned down very quickly. Musashimi makes it happen. Brox gonna take this, one of the last few kills in this engagement. Spidey, nothing left he can do in this scenario. Musashimi showing us Brox is not the only scary sniper on this squad.
So predictable.
Yeah, very interesting play there on both sides there. Ember, of course, falling for the oldest trick in the book, the Diva closed the door trick on the Gibraltar side there. Counter dive. It's definitely working out very well here. I think they kind of got their dive Z-legs. I like the pick here from 7 Sin. Got to keep that up here. Ultimate-wise, I think we're looking at a strong push here from the Cougar side.
Well, now Ember has gone in chest, has the Dragon Blade, finds Dragon Knight. That is a huge off, nice and early here. Once Musashimi shut down by Brox, though, the Transcendence denies so much damage there. Dragon Strike onto high ground will take out the sniper there. Rez comes through onto chest. This one's looking good for the Cougars. Self-destruct not anywhere dangerous. It's looking really solid here. If they can clean up Evergreen, they'll be in a really good place to push in through A. Free shot doesn't want to let it happen here. Dragon Eye has come back to help things out, but it's going to be very difficult to contest with their surviving player. Brox is back. Dragon Strike onto the point. Going to zone them away. Chase is sniped out here, and 7 Sins is back. Yeah, Brox trying to find more shots. Brawl on the point between the Diva Winston here. Self-destruct on point. Gonna find some people take cover. Evergreen cannot get that big monkey body behind those boxes. Now Musashimi against the world does get finished off there. Free shot D-Mech, and that's the end of this stall. They'll be moving to point B.
You know, I want to compliment Cougars here, but I gotta say 7 Sins probably won the encounter due to one small mistake on the Cougar side, and that is they forgot payload duty. Everyone's got to have payload duty at some point, and that payload kind of sat under the bridge that whole time, allowing 7 to get back and get another, I would say, 30 to 40 seconds to stall. When your time bank is this big, like I said at the beginning though, you might have a chance here, and here, they're forgetting once again.
Dragon Eye has Guardian Angel forward. I don't think he meant to do that here. Now Evergreen up here alone. Dragon Blade has been popped from chest. Wants to find Brox, is able to do so. Now needs this Mercy kill. Can't find it, and the rest of his team has been killed in the meantime because Evergreen has shown some intense primal rage here, smashing through the back line. And now Son of a Sphinx gonna have to go back to base very, very slowly.
Good stagger there on the Diva. Again, just the dive there. Very hard to counter.
You should be at
I'm not sure what I'd do here if I were on the Cougar side at this point. Maybe it's time to sneak in that Reaper, just destroy the tanks, but you got double snipers against you, so that's not gonna work. I don't know. Might need to get that counter Widow.
That might be an opportunity here, but Chest does not want to go into that Widow duel again. Not how the last ones went, and I don't blame him. But if they make good use of this Valkyrie and their other ultimates available, they might be able to fight through it. Brox is down. Musashimi is down. Evergreen Not going to be enough to turn it just on Chess here. Does find Chase, now 2 for 2. Res onto Mushimi is good. Man advantage turned on its head very quickly here. Ember tries to bring things back in, but he's one monkey against the world. He's got an Omnic Monk to help him. Just kidding, he's dead too. Now 2 tanks surrounded by 4 enemies. This is a very difficult position to survive in. Chess is back, but I think you might have wanted to hang back there, friend. The tank's trying to chase him down, just barely. No, he will fall down next to Spidey here, and this is becoming a problem across the way for the Cougars. They're just trickling in so much, they're losing a lot of time to push. But Dragon Eye will die for over pushing here.
This push started about the 2-minute 50 mark, and we're on to the 1-minute 20 mark at this point, and I'd still say this particular count is not over with Ember diving in here. This is just a discipline thing. You've had about a 2-minute push here at this point, and it's just too long. Spidey, of course, getting the pick there on Evergreen, so there might be a chance for them to get back. There's no Zenyatta hold the count.
Alright, and now there's the Dragon Blade trying to find Brox once more, able to do just that. Wants to get a bit more damage before it expires. Gonna have to be happy with that. Now Dragon Strike coming through from both teams. Juked out by the Cougars. They're gonna be okay here. They might just be able to push it into B. One fight, not gonna be all they need because Evergreen's back. Primal Raging on point with the Valkyrie heal in full form. Valkyrie's available for both teams here. Self-destruct on point, takes out 3! 7 Sins in shambles because of that one. Sorry for eShot, you just cannot get that same level of self-destruct coming out there. Stall will continue for a brief moment, but they're moving on to point C, getting that much closer to bringing this to a tiebreaker.
Again, I want to call out that Chesh had his ult ready to go with a no counter to King Bismarck, closer to the 2-minute 20 mark there. Didn't pop it until 15 seconds. That's just the time that happened to get that attack. So I want you to take this body. This is a great video to go back and watch.
Counter here. Transcendence was popped so early. Now Chess has a free blade here to do whatever he takes out King Bismarck. Musashimi falls to the enemy dragons here. D-Mech on the free shot is good. Hawk Zero falls. That's an opportunity if the respawn advantage can be pushed here. Brox needs to be answered across the way. Chess trying to find him, but that's a difficult target for a Genji here. Gonna try and do just that. Evergreen's down. If they can clean the Pharah, they have a good fight here. Mushimi comes in from the side, the flank doing so much work for them. Respawn's coming through in a big way here. Brox with the Rocket Barrage will buy them the time they need. It's gonna have to be a full retreat from the Cougars, but they get so very close. Same time, they only have 40 seconds to get back here and fight.
Through the miracle of
I think it's all going to come down to whether Chesh can build his ultimate quick enough. Oh, going to the Widowmaker.
Hey.
Decent choice at the end here, especially since Brox is now on that Pharah. No longer that scary 1v1. But it's going to be interesting here. The ultimate advantage is definitely still on the side of 7 Sins. So Mercy ult's probably going to counter a lot of the damage here. So let's see what happens. The Widow going to get those picks.
Pressure on 6Cs now. 7 Sins win this. They win the entire set. Chase already in trouble. Focused down by the Winston. Both Zenyatas are out of here from the same cause. Dragon Strike on the point. Putting a lot of pressure. Divas exchanging their self-destructs. Free shot finds 2 though. Transcendence comes in from Chase here. That will keep Spidey popped off here. Chess wants to find some more shots now on the Widowmaker. But with Ember down here, their ability to stand on the payload is severely impeded. We are in overtime. Spidey, the Hanzo, cannot play the payload like this. Time is running out. Son of a Sphinx gets on the payload just in time. He has the healing from his Hawk Zero friend there, but it's them against everybody. Hawk Zero falls down. Son of a Sphinx in danger. He stalled for a long time, but the rest of his team so far away. The Winston going to need to make it here, but overtime is gone. Ladies and gentlemen, 7 Sins will take the series at game 4.
You know, I love how 7 Sins really pulled it together after that, what I would say, absolutely devastating loss from the King of the Hill. These guys, look at this beautiful defense, by the way, from Son of Sphinx. Interesting devo throughout the game. But, you know, 7 Sins had the posturing better. Ultimately, that's what it came down to. I think if Cougars was able to posture throughout this entire series, I believe if they postured properly, that this would have been a lot closer of a series than it was, especially on those last 2 things. So, folks, again, look at this VOD. When you're going back to watch this, think about the time on the clock. How much time did your push take? How much time should it have taken? That's the lesson today.
See if they're able to translate that in their next one. But speaking of the next one, if you want to know when the next big Overwatch Pretenders match is going down, there is a link to our Twitter in our Twitch channel description below. Follow us there to keep up with all the Overwatch Pretenders news. But for now, that is all we've got. I was Sleek. You can follow me at Twitter at Sleek Esports, joined here by HX9.
Follow me on Twitter, HXZ9, and watch me on Twitch on the weekends, HXZ9 also.
All right, that's going to be it, folks. Thank you all for joining us. Wonderful games from both teams. Archie Sleek, signing off.